it is a sales tool for brands just to test the waters.
Yeah, you also get to play with one little psychology element, scarcity. We live below the fold. We live underneath those incredible brands.
What is the vision? Right? So like there's a story, but then it's like, where are you trying to go? If it's compelling enough, then you start to get people to believe in it.
What's up, Jordan?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
We're back.
What's up, Carla?
What's up?
All right. I believe it is, well, Michelle told me, it is officially drop season.
Yes, sir.
Q4 is coming up. Too fast.
Fall season
almost.
is around the corner.
So we wanted to really dive in and talk about, what a drop is, why we feel so confident in, this as the future. Carlo, you can jump off first. Like, talk about, how we've been working drops in the past, and then, I have some, interesting stuff that we can go into on, like, history of that as well.
Yeah. Well, drops, it got really popular when COVID was going down, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the whole pandemic was happening, everyone switched over to drops and really focused on the e-com play, which I think we all had to, whether we had to or not, we had to take advantage of that because there's no live events happening or anything like that. So we're kind of forced to jump into that. But I think everyone then saw that there's a real opportunity there to push e-commerce sales, drive different value propositions and test different designs out, So, but then it went quiet a little bit. It went quiet a little bit, like you said, a lot of print on demand stuff. And I think that kind of takes away from the whole drop model. Jordan, he'll tell us a little bit about how things work behind the scenes. But now that it's getting into the fall season, drop campaigns are definitely a lucrative part of business that comes back. So, diving into that deeper will be interesting.
Yeah, for the audience that maybe doesn't do this every day, all day, and sit here in one of our factories. So what we're saying in the concept of a drop is that we're placing a product up for sale for a limited amount of time to build the sense of urgency.
Right.
So our go-to is 4 days. People fight us. Sometimes they say put it up for 10 days, put it up for 15 days. If you do that, you're pushing into the month-long, from the time the customer places the order to the time that they get it, you're pushing into a month. So we say 4 days. When we run the data, 80% of your revenue comes in those first 4 days.
So you're saying keep it for sale for 4 days open.
Keep it for sale for 4 days open. And after that, and then you do all of your marketing. You drive as much possible attention, eyes on that product or that collection, and then you pull it off. Yep. So the difference between a drop and print on demand is that we'll wait those 4 days to collect and aggregate all of those orders. Whereas in a print on demand universe, you're going to receive one order, produce one order.
Yeah.
Receive one order, produce one order. And so why, from our perspective, would we still lean towards the drop side is because it gives us the opportunity to do high volume or at least some level of volume on the decoration side. So we can import the garments ahead of time. We can have them prepared and ready to go. But it is also a no inventory solution. So you don't have to buy 5,000 already decorated products. You get the ability to put them up for sale, no inventory, no risk, collect all of those orders, but then actually produce with quality. Even when we're producing a product, we're doing high-res photo approvals, we're doing separations, we're doing inside tags, we're doing big giant print on enormous screen printing machines, multicolor, multi-position. We have that ability when we produce in bulk. We don't have that ability when we produce on the on-demand side.
Volume is key, for sure. I think volume for the brand, why that matters is margin for them.
Margin.
Right? Because you can do the on-demand. Your customer may buy one or two pieces, and we all know what that cost is going to be. It's going to be a high cost to produce the one or two pieces. It's nice because your customer may have different choices and different options, but it's still one piece, and you have to pay one piece production.
Yep.
You push the volume, and you know, if it's a good brand, and you'll probably talk about some of the
Yeah.
numbers that you've seen
Yeah.
working behind the scenes. If a brand pushes 2,000 units in 4 days, you're paying 2,000 piece pricing, so their print cost goes down.
Significant.
Their sale price to their customer remains the same, so the cost that it costs, their cost of goods to produce it shrinks, yielding more margin for the brand. Right? That's where the volume play comes in.
Yeah, when I was doing some research, I stumbled on like old Virgil days, you know, with his original brand that he had, Pyrex, and then I even went, you know, deeper into Rude, a brand that we've mentioned quite a few times on this podcast, where he actually went through some pretty deep financial hardships with bringing in inventory, because he brought in the inventory, he kind of forecasted incorrectly. There was some issues with quality, I believe, and then he ran out of money.
Yeah.
So the only way to bring it back was to launch a pre-sale drop, and he launched that pre-sale drop, and it was super successful. He made $150,000 on that pre-sale drop. Now, hopefully, he had an incredible partner to actually produce it, get it out the door, and get it into the fans, you know, which you're going to talk about that whole connection and that process. But, you know, really, I think the drop is so important to, especially, even mature, brands are still using it because it's so good. But especially in the beginning, there's absolutely no financial risk that's associated there, and that makes it pretty incredible.
Yeah. We like that. We like no financial risk for sure.
Great for growth. Yeah.
Why don't you talk about, Jordan, where do we start? It's like, we engage with a brand. I'm looking to do a drop. How do the systems connect? You know, talk us through the process a little bit.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Jordan. Thank you guys for having me. I've been doing drops on e-commerce, any type of drop, whether that's on your Shopify store or you're simply providing us a spreadsheet of orders. I've been doing it for about 3 years, and I've seen drops that are successful. I've seen drops that have a huge following, but may not
so
have
much.
a lot of not so much sales.
Yeah.
Fizzle out.
But I think the beauty of how I handle and connect to these customers and ship to your end user is we have technologies in place that allow us to integrate with e-commerce. So nowadays, a lot of people, they buy online, they buy on their phone. They buy through an Instagram story that Doja Cat or whoever, right? They post it like, hey, merch drop, t-shirt drop for the latest tweet that I just did or something like that.
Yeah.
We find trends like that sell very quickly because it has like this, like you're saying, this exclusivity, this sense of urgency.
Yep.
And we like to use these great e-commerce stores, these tools like Shopify, who allow these integrations, allow you to put up products, handle all the taxes that you as a brand probably don't want to deal with, right? Yep. You can just focus on being and like advertising your brand like you should be doing, be on the creative end, and allow someone like me just collect your orders into our system at Culture Studio, produce and ship to your end user. So how we do that, very simply, I'll just talk about Shopify. I'm a huge fan of Shopify.
That's the go-to for sure.
I know you people sometimes buy on eBay, but I mean Shopify, that's what their whole company is built on, helping out these smaller brands, start out, maybe even using this drop campaign idea of a low upfront inventory investment because you're just starting out. But once you make all those sales, then there you go. Like what you said, Rich, it was the no risk inventory management. Yeah,
exactly. Even more so on, sometimes I hear brands say, well, I'm going to launch this POD, and then if it works, I'll move over to bulk. And okay, but if you launch a poor quality, crappy product, I'm gonna guess that you're not gonna get a lot of sales. Whereas, you still we gotta make sure it's not like this like custom bomber that has to be custom created and imported and it takes a month or something.
It's got to be fast execution.
The product's
for sure.
got to be available. We're fine with bringing the product in, and having it ready to go. But if you launch a beautifully designed product and you're using all of these other specialty decorations or embroidery or large printing, or we're doing jumbo now and discharge, and if you're putting out a product that looks incredible, I would say you have a far better chance of actually getting a significant amount of orders. And if you get those orders, well, then there you go. You just had your rude day and you made 150 grand.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you just pull it down and go on to the next one.
Now you got some capital.
Crumple it up and back to the drawing board. So
Yeah. So I think you bring up a solid point. I think a lot of these brands too, I know, I'm familiar with like Kith, the Kith brand. A lot of these, I guess an advantage of doing a drop with us is part of it being you're taking advantage of the screen print, the jumbo print, right? That's not necessarily something companies do on a print-on-demand basis. I would imagine you can take advantage of finishing services like getting custom poly mailers. I feel like that when your customer receives it and it's in a nice package with your branding, so on and so forth, that's something that you can take advantage when you do a drop.
That's the experience.
It's the experience. Right. And I feel like, with the marketing that you do on your social media, and then your customer waits, 2 weeks to get the package and it comes in this sweet poly mailer, I feel like that kind of brings it all together.
Yeah. It really is like it's a sales tool for the brand. And so where I've seen it be pretty successful is like a brand may already have their collection online, right? So like if you go to whatever brand it is, they have their collection that you can buy and purchase. But the way I speak to some of the clients sometimes is like, especially in the holiday season, where first of all, your supply chain is usually disrupted, right? So that if you're using a supply chain during the holiday season, they may be backed up. That's why you want to pick a partner of choice that is at scale that can capitalize no matter what time of year it is. But let's say they have their product line already up online on their site, but then they want to just like throw in a piece and capitalize on sales over the weekend or capitalize on sales for the next 4 days before Black Friday. It's like they can test the design out. So like they're already capitalizing on the stuff they may have inventory on. But let's try a drop really quick. Maybe there's a life event or something happened on the news or, whatever. It could be something like you said, social media, and say, let's throw up a hoodie really quick and see if we can get some sales. So like they're already capitalizing on the sales they have on their inventory, but it's like an extra push of sales. And the goal is to get it to your customers quickly, right? So if you can get it in their hands in 5 or 6 days, it's like, awesome, let's do it again. Or let's try another design. So it is a sales tool for brands just to test the waters.
Yeah, you also get to play with one little psychology element that I'm so the first one to be tricked by this was called scarcity.
Yeah, exclusivity, right? Yeah.
So I've been looking at this radio flyer go-kart for my daughter's birthday. It's a 2-seater go-kart, right? And it's been in stock. So the product is on the radio flyer site. It was like $300 or something like that. And I saw it in stock and I was like, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Her birthday's not until September 15th.
Good, you remember now.
No, it's the 24th.
When you have so many kids,
it's a running joke. We don't even know our kids anymore. Yeah, they run together.
I got to get it tattooed.
You said September 15th?
It's September 24th. But so I did not purchase. And then as September is coming up in 3 days, I went back to the site and I saw that they were out of stock. The moment I saw that, there was a notify button. I hit that notify button, and in 2 days, they hit me back and they say, I just want to let you know that for one time and one time only, for the next 24 hours, that this product is going to be in stock. I was on the plane. I reached into my pocket. I put the credit card in, placed the order. I will almost guarantee that they purposefully do that.
For sure.
It's a genius move. That product is 100% in stock. They shipped it the next day.
Yeah.
But it's like if you use this psychology, I don't know, but what do you call it? Like
it's impulse
warping, right?
It's
like
impulse.
You're warping the psychology. You're saying you may not be able to buy this product in time for the birthday, so hit this drop now or never.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Like you asked, a store to do something and they reply back to you saying, hey, we actually have this. It kind of creates this connection with the brand of like, well, maybe this is the time for me to actually spend my money
Yep.
if you're on the edge.
Yep.
But yeah, that brand connection, it's
Yeah.
psychology behind that.
Yeah, without mentioning any brands, there is one, you guys probably remember this situation where we had a brand that's doing drop campaign, and they're kind of in, I guess you call it the school market, let's say, and their drop was on their site, very, very simple and clean. It was like one team design and other team design. And I guess I don't know if they were colleges or professional sports, but obviously a big, two teams
Rivalry.
again,
A
rivalry, if you
yeah.
will. And these are two designs that are selling, and they're pushing to their crowd and to their audience, like, oh my God, look at red team is winning, more purchases on the red, and then holy shit, wait, blue is coming up, and blue sold 10,000 units, but red's at 11,000 units, and like they had this competition, and of course, if you're backing one team, you're like buy one, buy two, and you're sending it to your friends, and there's this like viral moment. At the end of the day, there's that competition. But then you take the orders down and you got 20,000 pieces sold on one, 18,000 pieces sold on the other one. And you're like, damn, like now that is, I guess, the perfect example of how you can build that scarcity, but also competition and of course go to market. And I know you worked on that one specifically.
Yeah, and just to talk on the tech end too. So as you're doing all these sales, right, say we're using Shopify. You're selling, you're collecting all your money into your own account, right? The funds are on your Shopify store. Our team's technology pulls all those orders already, all the shipping information, the products that are needed, and that's basically submitted into our system. We input it into our system, straight into production, and then straight to your end user. So someone like us, a partner that can handle the production end, the shipping end, your tech end, we're in your Shopify store just using an app. That process in itself is kind of that full service type mentality. I know some people do drops, but maybe they hold inventory because they're getting it overseas or something like that. Having this go to market so quick because we basically handle the full end spectrum of things is definitely, in my mind, advantageous and allows us to kind of help you out to the best of our ability.
Give us a couple do not do's, I guess. Like, are the, any like look out for this? Maybe you could talk international
or even
a
like,
little bit.
like you said, taxes, right? Like
Taxes.
like something a entrepreneur or brand
Yeah.
would never think about, right? What are some other things that?
So I would say the top three that pop in my mind, it's kind of like I have bad dreams about these sometimes.
PTSD.
Yeah.
The first thing, and it may kind of catch people for a surprise, when it comes to doing drops, but you have a lot of different items, a lot of different colors, that kind of defeats the purpose in my mind.
Yep.
For example, let's say you did a t-shirt, a crew neck. Well, let's say you did two t-shirts and a crew neck. You're probably better off just doing one t-shirt, because at the end of the day, when people go shop on your store, it's like they're having to make more choices. If it's maybe just one product, like a collector's edition t-shirt, let's say, it's up for a limited amount of time, the consumer only has to make one decision. Am I going to buy this or not?
Yep.
So I see a lot of success with that.
So limit
Keep it-
the amount of products,
Limit the amount of
Analysis
products,
paralysis
yeah.
for the client.
not too many choices.
Not too many
Go
choices.
with the heavy hitter.
Right.
Hit
Exactly.
the banger product and leave all the variations of the colors and styles and blah, blah, blah to the side.
Yeah.
Good one.
One
Great
product, and you can also do the finishing along with that, make it like a sweet experience rather than trying to do a sweet experience for like 5 different
Yep.
products.
Right.
Totally.
So that's the big thing that I've seen from my experience. The second thing, we should leverage these beautiful technologies of Shopify to do the tax work for you. One thing about Shopify, if you don't know already, they have their own payment system, Shopify Payments. They do take a cut out of your transaction, but it's pennies to
Worth it. Yep.
the dollars that you have to deal with when you file your taxes.
Definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it. And also, the cool thing about Shopify Payments is that they do more than just a credit card transaction. You can do PayPal. You can do, what are those other ones? Klarna. You pay no interest.
Oh,
all
shit.
those
Paying for?
It's- yeah.
Love paying
Yeah,
for.
pay in 4 days, IOU,
Yeah.
whatever. You leverage all those different types because that's just how the world is nowadays. Someone's on their phone. Someone may want to pay with a PayPal account. Someone could be doing it for a friend or something like that. Leveraging something like Shopify, in which we connect to integrated, gives you that capability.
It's those tedious tasks that you don't want to worry about. And if you have to give up a small percentage for that to be taken care of,
Yep.
And I think that plays in. I think the reason why I feel so strongly about that is I feel like as a brand, you should just be solely focused on doing brand work, marketing,
Sell it.
work.
Gotta sell it.
Trying to find the next trend, trying to find your next drop, and use us or Shopify, right, to do all the tax work or whatever, production, shipping to your end user, all the customer service that goes along with that. I haven't even talked about that yet, but that's just the nature of the game.
How about weights, SKUs, and then international? Talk to those three, because I know those are kind of three more items that all very often get skewed or missed.
Correct.
So hit those three.
So I'll talk about weight first. So weight, anytime you ship something, at least in America, right, it goes in a box or a poly mailer, and weight is tied to that. Now, we ship through USPS. It's a common United States postal service. Yep. And depending on the carrier rates, whether that's ground advantage or priority mail, weights play into that, and that kind of plays into how much your customer will be paying. Many times when you do a drop, people are buying more than one product. So, for example, if a customer buys 4 T-shirts, I mean, that could probably just go in one poly mailer, but if it's maybe a hard good item, that would require something a little bit more bigger. So, an advantage of working with us, we can actually just create the product and put it in your store with the weight already recorded.
Yep.
So you don't have to think about, how is this going to ship to the customer?
Is it 8 ounces? Is it not?
Did I collect the shipping fee properly?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how much on average? Trying to estimate shipping charges at the forefront is a challenge, not only for us, but I'm sure many other people.
Yep.
Shipping rates change all the time. So when we can nail down the weight, which if you decide what kind of product you'll drop, I mean, that's very easy to find. You don't have to worry about processing the package. We have the packages that we can, pick and pack your stuff in and send to the customer.
Yep.
And then your second point was, you said weight.
SKUs.
So SKUs.
Yep.
I'm a very analytical person, and I'll work on the tech side.
You don't want to have 2 black shirts called Fire and Fire Lips with no SKUs. Let's see. Are we going to ship this to the customer incorrectly?
Yeah.
What do you know? Yeah.
Oh, man. So I'm really big on SKUs. SKUs create this, very simply, it's a unique identifier if there's tech people watching this. A unique identifier basically means if you're selling a T-shirt that says Merry Christmas on it or whatever, that SKU to that size will be straight unique.
Right.
If that makes sense. So each size or each variant is what we call it, has a unique SKU system. So that way, when it makes into when we get to pick and packing and shipping, we do this technique called batching. So an advantage when you're doing something that's screen print, or when you're doing something that requires maybe a longer decoration process, we ship those babies right off the press.
Yep.
How can we do that? Every product that we create has a unique SKU. So when I'm batching for you, or we're ready to ship to your customers, you're not waiting until everything's complete. Like, the T-shirt's XL, Merry Christmas. I already know what that SKU is because I set it up that way.
Right.
Ship it.
Ship it.
Batch ship. And that allows us to work very agile, right? The industry is always changing. Sometimes there's issues, but we adapt. I think that's an advantage.
And that's accuracy, probably.
Accuracy,
right?
correct. Because SKUs are very important, like Rich said. When the product name or the product itself looks so identical, how do you
Give us a
differentiate?
SKU.
Yeah.
You do the SKU. That's how you differentiate.
How about this? If anybody in the audience has other questions for Jordan or us, please just drop a comment into YouTube or into any of our socials. Of course, you can email us, anywhere from our website. You can grab it. But I know this is a can of worms that we can possibly open up. But
We can go forever.
Yeah, I love drop season. It's one of my favorites. I love when they get me, just like that darn go-kart got me.
Gotcha.
So this is a fun time of year. Hopefully, lots more content on it. Ask your questions. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
for having me.